There we go. We're on, sir. Welcome everybody to episode 2 or 3. What is this? 2 or 3? How do we consider this, Ernie? Do we call this episode 2 or do we call it episode 3?
3.
Okay, it's 3 for us, but in the land of our $6 billion deal.
Episode 3 for us, but second, yeah.
Yeah, once we signed the big contract with HSBN, this is our second show. So
yeah.
Thanks for joining us again.
Mexican pesos, yes, absolutely.
Soles, whatever, Intis, whatever planet you're from. Thank you guys for joining us. We wanted to just recap last week. I think the information was fantastic. We literally could have gone on for 3 hours. So for those of you that had questions, for those college guys, the different levels, JUCO, NAIA, D2, we are going to bring back some of those guests, and we're going to bring them back separately in a smaller setting so we can even pick their brains a little bit more. We got something pretty exciting next week, which should have to do with the draft, but we don't want to give out too much information. Ernie, what do you think about last week?
Hey, man, I think last week's show was very informative to the point where, like you said, we could have gone on for ever. And after we were done, I had a couple texts from several of those coaches, and Mr. Livingston himself says, "Man, we didn't even scratch the surface. There's so many other things that could be talked about." And it is true, man. There's so many uncertainties out there, and it's affecting a lot of individuals. And then after the fact, the next day I spoke to Rudy, and Division II is cutting down from 50 games to 40 games next year. And then you're seeing conferences being eliminated. And the word is I just read on somebody's Twitter that Broward College baseball and athletics is done. There is no more athletics at Broward College. I cannot confirm that, but it's from a good source. So I did hear that. And it's a shame. It's a shame that all this is occurring because of the pandemic. I remember many years ago when the Miami-Dades had 3 campuses, Dade, North, and downtown, and then they consolidated to one. And it eliminated a lot of opportunities for student athletes to pursue careers through baseball. So, yeah, it's a sad time, man. So this show, we're going to bring in a couple young men that are being directly affected and kind of tap into how they're feeling about it and what they have to say. By the way, okay, our announcers are not here today. They both did a great job.
Correct.
I mean, it was close. It was close, and we're gonna bring them on next week. And we, they were, I guess, both out of town or something of that nature. We couldn't get a hold of them. I know for a fact one was driving. But how you like my lid? You like the 305 lid?
I like it. I can't.
I feel. It says 305. You got to trust me. Listen, when I put it on, I feel like Pitbull, Mr. 305. Anyways, if you want yours, code baseball. You got Dan Rivetto spearheading this, and you could get 954 on it. If you're from Broward County, you get 813 if you're from the Tampa area. Whatever area you're at and you're seeing this and you want your hat or your shirt, you got to let us know, DM us on our Twitter account, which is at HYardTalk. At HYardTalk. Follow us there, 1. 2, if you're interested in one of these, we could put you in connection with Dan Rivetto or even Eddie Daskal, who's handling Dade County. They're pretty nice. The shirts fit good. They make you look good. They represent your area code, and it's a fantastic endeavor. But anyways, this is a non-paid political advertisement, by the way. We didn't make any money off of that, but we will eventually. At least get you a hat, Rich, something like that. You know what I mean? But you do look like Pitbull. You look like Pitbull from the eyebrows up. You know what I'm saying?
I know Pitbull. I know him before he was famous, actually.
When he was a puppy?
Yes. Back in the day. If I walked into him now, he probably wouldn't recognize me. But it's
absolutely.
Okay.
Well, man, let's keep going. Let's get it going, man. Let's get it rolling, man.
Yep. Our guests today are 2 young men. One is a a graduating senior from Coral Reef, and the other guy is a JUCO transfer. And we'll tell you a little bit more about his story once he comes in. He played his high school baseball at Stoneman Douglas during the tough time that they had over there. So he's a young man I met about a year ago down in the Bahamas. Phenomenal guy, and it's going to be fun to get their insight. We're going small setting because we want to give these guys a little bit more of a platform to talk, and hopefully that's the way the show's going to go on from here on out. So we're going to bring them in. Give me one sec. Let's see if I can be technologically sound here.
I have faith in you. I know you could do it.
I hit admit all. Bring them both in. There they go.
Hey, look at that.
Hey, now we're gonna get.
Hey, gentlemen.
Now we're gonna get some ratings. So,
Connor and Sebastian, how are you guys doing tonight?
Good. And you?
Good, awesome, man. Just getting ready to get this thing going, and Richard's going to start us off, man, and let you guys explain a little bit of what you guys are going through and dealing with.
Yeah, so I'm just going to give an overview for everyone watching of who you guys are. I'll start with the older guy, because I guess he should go first because he's older, and he's got a great beard on tonight. This is Connor Bryan. He was at Eastern for his freshman and sophomore years, and now he will be playing baseball at Barry University, correct?
Sure.
Played his high school ball at Stoneman, moonlights in the Bahamas once in a while where they let him swing the bat. Great young man. And also joining us tonight is outgoing senior, had a hell of a high school career, hell of a junior year, hell of a run. He was instrumental of putting Coral Reef baseball on the map. They were one bad bounce, one lucky hop away from having a 0-0 game and going to extras. I got to watch a lot of that run, and that must have been fantastic for you and your teammates. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But this is Sebastian Jimenez. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure.
Oh, man. Glad to be here.
So, guys, last week, I don't know if you saw the show, but we had all different kinds of college coaches on from the D2, NAIA, JUCO levels, and they were discussing the conundrum that they're in with roster sizes, players coming back, scholarships, budget cuts. I mean, it was a great lengthy conversation, and everybody had some great insight. So what we wanted to do tonight is to get insight from the other side, from your guys' point of view, from your family's point of view, kind of get into the decision-making process of what you guys had to consider, think about, discuss. You know, you guys are ball players. You guys are both high-level ball players. But at the end of the day, you know, the chances that you guys are on TV in 3 years is still a long shot away. So we want to know how much academics came into play and just the whole process. So Bazz, let's start with you. I've been coaching against you for years, and in your few games that you guys had this year, I mean, I would see 4 scouts out there. So you were not only committed to a D1 here in Florida, but you were seriously being considered to be drafted. And as we discussed earlier, somewhere in the 300s, which with this 5-round draft, that kind of leaves you out, right? So I know that there was some talks about junior colleges, go there for a year, maybe get drafted, but you also had to think about, you know, a 4-year ride at FSU. So could you give us a little bit of information as to what you had to go through in the last 2 months since this whole pandemic started, and the thought process behind making the decision that you made?
So I never really looked at junior college like that because even when I decommitted from FIU last year during summer, junior college was a big option that I had to come to terms with. Like, the whole thing of me decommitting was that at the back of my mind is that I'd end up at a junior college. So then I was like, okay, that's fine. And then FSU came along, thank God. And I got this, but I never really saw junior college as, like, I never really put myself in a junior college because I said, worst case scenario, I'll go to a 4-year school, get my studies, and then get a job if that was what had to happen. But now with everything going on, I'm leaning more towards the 4 years at Florida State, or 3 years hopefully. And junior college wasn't really an option for me. Like, I know I have a spot there if I need it, but I never really looked into junior college like that.
So this wasn't a conversation you had after this whole Corona shut us down, and you were.
No, I had a conversation with my advisor and everything, but I told him straight up, like, I'd rather go to Florida State and play my 3 years, even if I have to sit one, or if I split time my first year or anything. And worst case scenario, I just get my degree and start a career somewhere else.
Heck, that might be best case scenario, having a degree, you know? That's a jump start in life.
Right.
What did your advisor have to say about the possibility of playing in a junior college here at Dade or somewhere for a year? And what did he think about your draft stock and what about next year? Did he talk to you about that at all?
He spoke to me. He just mentioned the junior college thing and told me like it's an idea that we should think about. And then right away, I told him that I'm not really thinking about junior college. So he just shut that down immediately. And then with the whole pandemic going around and the draft stock thing and everything, he knows I'm leaning more towards a 4-year college to go into Florida State. So he says now we're just going to get prepared to get me out of there in 3 years.
Good. Another question that I had.
And Bazz,
Go ahead,
Bazz, listen, Bazz, you know that you played on some summer teams that I've seen you play in summers, and you progressively got them better and better, and you've grown and you filled out to where you're at right now. So to me, that tells me obviously that you work hard, that you're determined, and you're driven to the success. I think that you're in a situation where you're making the right choice and deciding you've made up your mind. And to me, I like that, because that's what you want. That's what you shoot for. And I know you, and I've seen you, and I know you're going to accomplish that. So having that type of mindset is going to take you far. And we're not in baseball, obviously, but in life. And I know that you got a great support system, and that's important, because what we seem to forget through all this stuff, that these decisions have to be family decisions, and you have a great mom, a great dad that supported you, and that's instrumental to include your parents in this decision, because it's not Sebastian going up for 3 years at FSU. It's the Jimenez family going up there. And I think sometimes we overlook that when, as players make decisions. So I commend you on that, and having the mindset to focus, to know what you want. My question is this. Obviously your dream is to play professional baseball, just like everybody that plays this game. And for some of us, it happens. For some of us, it doesn't. So having said that, what will you do different in college that you did in high school,
I think,
to help you get to that, that goal?
College, obviously, Florida State's a big baseball program. So I think with the facilities they have there, the competition they have, and the pitching they have will definitely get me prepared. Because high school, it was fun, obviously, and Coral Reef, we had a good team. But when you compare it to arms, compared to like a Westminster or something, obviously Westminster has like better arms. Like they have high velo guys. So I think by me going to Florida State, I'll be seeing a bunch of draftable players. And then weekend series and midweek series, I'll be seeing a great competition in general by going there.
Bazz, what about?
So the competition definitely makes us better.
Bazz, what can you tell us about? What do you know about what's coming back? What's returning there? Is there people in your position that were seniors that are returning? What do you know about the whole roster situation?
So my advisor spoke with Coach Metcalf, who's a coach there. So pretty much the catcher they have this year is a sophomore who's draft eligible because he's the oldest sophomore. So they don't know yet if he's going or not. But if he returns, he wasn't originally a catcher. It's just that last year they had two catchers who ended up, one became a pitcher, and I think one got kicked out because of problems. So they had to turn someone into a catcher, and it was him. But the reason he caught and played was because of his bat. That's his whole thing. So they're saying if it comes to it, and if I'm prepared enough, freshman year, if I get there, I show up. I have a JUCO guy who's transferring in, so it'll be me and him competing. So they're saying if one of us show that we're ready after fall to play in spring, they'll move Matt Nelson, who's the catcher there now, to third base, which is his original position, and then one of us will start. So honestly, it all depends on me and how good I do, how prepared I get during fall, and how I show up.
So who are you catching these days? What kind of pens are you
question. You know who was –
What was that?
Yeah, I got a lag going on. Sorry, sports fans. The question was, who are you catching these days? Are you catching pens? Are you catching the machine? Are you catching some big arms or what?
So Chris Leon's been doing lessons. He started up lessons recently throughout the past 2 weeks. So I'm there with a bunch of guys like George Corona, SB, college players. So I train with them. And then I also catch pens for like Sean. I catch pens for my friend Jonathan Velasquez, who goes to Columbus. He's going to Stetson. I even catch pens for Victor whenever he needs me because he's, I think, about 7 minutes away. And obviously, he's a big-time arm. He might be going in the draft. If not, he's going to UM. So I just get those reps whenever I can because I think it's important for me to see live pitching now, not so much drills. So I've been catching pens whenever I can.
Nice. Yeah, catching Victor must be fun.
Bazz, do you know who the last – Bazz, you know who was the last infielder that FSU turned into a catcher?
Oh, sir.
You heard me, Bazz?
Are you going to say Buster Posey? Was he an infielder?
Buster Posey.
Good answer.
Buster Posey. Yeah, it was a shortstop.
Good answer.
Your coach Leon, when he played for me at Florida Christian, we played Lee County.
Christian?
Well, I think he was a ninth grader. Yeah, Lee County, and Buster had pitched the day before and pitched a 2-hitter, and we were able to beat them 4-2. And I'm telling you, that kid could pick it. He just had all the tools. And he just got bigger and kind of like got him out of the shortstop position. They were going to play him at third, and like you said, they had injuries. And then he's an all-star catcher. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there. So this Nelson kid has to be a pretty good player. But no doubt, I know you have the confidence to go out there, and you're not afraid of competition. And that's the most important thing. And to compete, iron sharpens iron, and just do your best, and I know that your best is going to be enough. So
let's take it over to Connor. He's been sitting there patiently. I think he's chasing Pokemon over there. Connor, talk to us, bud. Your route is a little bit different. You guys had a lot of success when you were over there at Stoneman with Fitz, and you went over to Eastern Florida, had some good success, and could have gone back as a sophomore and maybe upped your stock, but Barry came knocking. So can you give us a little bit of insight as to what was the decision-making process? What did you have to talk about with your parents, or yourself, or your teammates, or your coaches? Can you just give us a little bit of a background of how that decision-making process was for you?
Yeah, so it kind of starts off with back to my freshman year. As a freshman, I was one of the dudes. Like, I had 2.1 ERA, conference starter, one of the best ERAs in the state. Like, I had it all going for me. Come fall, like, here we go. This is the time that I'm getting committed. And I was so set on getting committed that I put so much pressure on myself to get to the high D1 level, which is what everyone's goal is. I mean, dating back to high school, that's what my goal is. No one wants to see themselves at JUCO for whatever reason because they think JUCO's this, JUCO's that. But again, to stay back to Sebastian when he said how he decommitted and he had some JUCOs knocking at the door and he didn't want to go there. but his situation is different because he's a much
high level recruit.
Yeah, he's a high level returner. Like, he knows what he's doing with himself. But a lot of the high school kids don't see themselves going JUCO. I had, I want to say, one offer. Yeah, I had one D1 offer, and I just snapped and I took it. Loved the place, loved the coaches, everything. Coaches got fired at the end of the season, so now I'm scrambling. Ended up at Eastern. Great fit for me. Love the coaches. Great fit for the family as well, not too far away. Like I said, went out there, did great my freshman year, coming into sophomore year, had to be committed. So I'm putting all this pressure on myself. Didn't do as well as I knew I should have and I thought I should have my fall season. With that being said, went into my senior year with even more pressure on myself to turn everything around and prove everyone wrong that that was just a mishap and I was doing too much to myself than I should have been doing. Got a couple looks here and there this past spring. FAU came knocking a little bit. Once again, they came to the game, and I put too much pressure on myself because I knew they were there. That was the same thing that happened in the fall. And then this whole thing kind of happened, and I was so set on going back. With that being said, I didn't because of they didn't, obviously the coaches didn't see this coming. So they had committed all these high school kids. So myself and a bunch of the sophomores didn't get the money that we had gotten before. So now I'm sitting there like, I really want to go back. I love my teammates. I love my coaches. I have a chance to go back and prove myself that I can be this D1 high-level guy. And then Barry came knocking. And then it kind of got me thinking. Barry has this amazing sports management program, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to major in sports management, and I've been hearing all this stuff about Barry and how it's one of the best sports management programs. And if I go back to Eastern, I just wouldn't have the classes help me pretty much because I've already gotten my AA, and Eastern just didn't have what I needed to further my academic career. So that also got me thinking. And then I'd also thought back because they had talked to me before I committed to Middle Tennessee State back in going into my senior year of high school. I committed to Middle Tennessee State. Barry was talking to me. So we kind of had a history with Barry. And then just thinking like it's probably less than an hour from home. It's not too difficult. It felt like because when I'd called Coach Arnold and let him know that I was going there, he was just saying how he knows that I'm happy that I'm going there, and he's happy for me. And when I went and visited these other D2 schools, he would bring me to his office and say, "Oh, how was it?" And I wasn't overly happy about my experience there. But now that he knows that I'm happy and he knows that this is a good fit for me, he's happy as well. And my parents are happy because it's close. And that's why I just decided to go with there. They have, like I said, they have my major that I really want to pursue. It just feels like the perfect fit for me.
Yeah, that you bring up an awesome point there.
Yeah, and
go, Ernie, you go. 'Cause I'm on a tape delay. You go, Ernie.
Yeah, no, Connor, you said you already had achieved your AA degree, correct?
I already completed my AAS.
Yeah, and then what happens is, yes, you could have stayed at Eastern, but if they don't have, for example, 4-year programs, you're basically wasting your time. You know what I mean? Because
the 4-year they had was, I believe it was a nursing program, and I'm just
and you're not going to do that, right? See, because at Miami-Dade, they have education, they have business, stuff like that, where you could kind of like, get your path going. So honestly, from that standpoint, you did the smart thing because, like we said, baseball will come to an end. And if you're spending the next 2 years, to, get 60 more credits and you stay at the junior college and you get 25 credits that are going to be really not useful, you wasted your time and the money. So you're going to a good program, and you're going to be playing in a conference that honestly is probably better than most mid majors in the country. There probably are. That conference that Barry plays in, that Lynn plays in, that Tampa, South Florida Southern, it's
Yeah,
murderous. It's a tough conference. So I say that just because it's D2, it does not mean that it's not good baseball. It's great baseball, and there's so many scouts. You take at Nova. How many guys are in the big leagues that played at Nova? JD Martinez, Freeze. There's a bunch of guys that come out of these programs. So you did the smart thing, going to a Division II school, pursuing the academic component of this, and then you're getting the benefit of great baseball. So I commend you to that, and I think you're going to be playing for some great coaches that are great baseball people, but more importantly, great people that are going to help you do what you need to do. And that's what parents need to understand, because we junior college coaches have basically 2 years to get you going, to get you in and pass you on. So they don't have that much time with you. But 4-year guys are going to have more time for you and to get you going, get your education, get your degree, and put you on that path. So parents understand that that's the most important thing. Not everybody's going to get drafted. Not everybody's going to get drafted in the first round. Not everybody's going to make it to the big leagues. But I tell you, 98 or 99% of the chance of the guys that play college baseball could get a degree. And that's what you got to look at.
I'll be happy to get drafted in the last round.
Me too.
Yeah, but no, I get you, because that's everybody's dream. But we got to put things in perspective first.
Yeah, of course. I need my degree first. That's main for me, because at the end of the day, like you said, there's such a little percentage who make it to the league, that you need that degree to get your life going. So
Connor,
if I don't make it to the league, I really hope I do. I just need that degree for me.
Question for you, Connor.
Absolutely.
You're going over to Barry as a sophomore in terms of your athletics. So are your plans to be a sophomore athletically, but your credits, you already have an AA. So are you going to take maybe just 4 classes a semester? What are your plans? Do you intend on being there sophomore, junior, and senior year? And I mean, how that could be a big bonus for you to be a little bit older, a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. What are your intentions?
Yeah, with the academic part of that situation, with the sports management program they have, if you're there for 5 years, which I'll be there for 3 + 2, so it will be 5 for me, it's a bonus towards my degree. So if I were to not get drafted next year or the year after, I could still get my master's in sports management, which would be better than just my bachelor's.
Absolutely.
So I'll be bigger, more defined, not defined, I should say.
I would hope so.
Bigger, more mature than some of the other sophomores, just because I'm older. I mean, that helps me out because I've been through 2 years of a junior college grind program. I mean, we went every day, whether it was in the work in the gym or on the field. We were every day. I mean, I know a lot of these the D1 and the D2 and the D3, like the NCAA schools, they have all the rules where you can only be out for so long. But at the junior college level, there aren't any rules. So whatever the coach says is what you're doing. So we were in the weight room almost every day. We were at the field every day. So I'm ready for it, and I'm ready to just get to work. Come August, hopefully we can get out on the field. Hopefully this pandemic doesn't delay itself into that time, and we don't get screwed over with that again.
Ernie, you got something?
It is an advantage that junior colleges have to have contact with the players and develop the players, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's through just practice or individuals and stuff like that. But Division Ones and Division Twos have this thing called CARA, which kind of limits the I think it's calculated athletic. I'm slipping my mind right now, but I'll get it. But yeah, I think it's 18 to 20 hours what they're allowed, you know, and it kind of like limits you, because you look at it where it's 6 days out of the week you're practicing for 3 or games. That's 18. You're mandated, you have to have a day off, and that's important too. But definitely from a development standpoint, when you could have contact like the JUCOs have, it's definitely a plus. From everything, because the weight training kind of counts to your time as well, and so you know, as an on the field type of thing. So, but yeah, but great.
Guys, question for you guys. I guess you guys could take turns answering it, but I know you guys made the decision. You guys are young men. You made it on your own. I'd like to hear what your parents had to say about it, as far as, you know, my kids play ball. I got a son, he went off to play college. My daughter's going to be a senior this year. So, you know, I get to see both sides of it as a coach and as a parent. And sometimes us as parents, we want to live vicariously through our offspring. And, you know, the sound of having a draft pick as a son, or a big D1 guy as a son, you know, sometimes those things cloud our judgment and how we're able to advise our own children. So I know both of you guys have great families and have great fathers. I know them both personally, but what kind of advice do they have for you guys beyond, hey, it's your decision, you got to do what's right for you? Beyond that, like, can you give us something a little bit more intimate on what kind of advice your dads and families had for you?
I'll go ahead. So before this whole thing, my parents actually sat me down about the draft, and they were telling me that I really had to look at it as an option, because I never really looked into draft like that. I was always like, okay, I got my dreams going for Florida State. I'll be going over there. After 3 or 4 years, I'll be going to the draft. If not, I'll be going in a career. But then it got into the, like you said, there was like 4 or 5 scouts at every game this year. So the draft was getting pretty serious. And with my parents being big school people, I never saw this coming from them. But we actually had to sit down and think about all the possibilities, the amount of money I would be getting, the fact that I'd get a head start that most people don't get. I'd be able to play baseball for a living and get paid to do that. So they actually supported me a lot in terms of that, which I didn't see coming, because they're big academic people. Like my brother has like a 3.97 GPA unweighted, and he's over here doing like a dual enrollment in business law and economics. So they always said that baseball was kind of a secondary to academics, but they realized my talent, I'd say, and how serious my future could be with baseball.
What about you, Connor?
Yeah, so my parents they wanted me to make the best decision for myself, but obviously for me, it was what's best for the family. I mean, my mom, I could tell when Barry gave me the offer, she wanted me to take it the minute she gave it to me, because she wanted me to be close to home.
Of course.
As though as Melbourne's not too far away, if I would be there, it's still farther than what Barry is. And my dad, he also wanted the same. He wanted the best for me, but the same thing with what Sebastian said with the academics. My dad graduated from Florida, as you can see from the background. Everything's Florida here. He graduated from there, very high on academics, very smart guy. He also was the same with academics come first. So if I don't have those straight, baseball is a second option as well. I mean, so I grew up with that. And in the beginning of my high school and the beginning of my college career, I was slacking off like the normal kid would, not taking it too serious. But once I actually saw my GPA my freshman year, it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't what I knew what it could be. So sophomore year came around, and it really hit me hard that like I needed to get this straight. And then I really took a big focus on school and realized that I needed to start getting what I need to get at to get my life started. Once baseball comes to an end, because it's going to come to an end at some time. I need to have the degree that I want to have. So that also took a big influence on me to go there, and they were all behind it because they know I wanted to be around sports my whole life. With sports management, I could do that, be around any sports program, anything that I wanted to be around, whether it's baseball, football. I love football, basketball, anything. So they were also telling me, this is what you want to do. You want to do this for your career, then this is probably the right option for you.
Makes a lot of sense. Those are the kind of decisions you make when you got good parents, man. That you guys got to be very thankful that you have that kind of advice in your ears, because a lot of guys in your positions don't get that advice, and a lot of it stems down to what I said earlier about parents having that tend to live vicariously through their children. And man, it's great to watch your kids play, but at the same time, man, it sounds like they're really leading you guys.
Popping her head in the door right now. My mom's popping her head in the door right now.
Oh, that's cool. Ernie, you got a question for these guys? Because if not, I want to take it. I want to take a detour. I want to downshift and go somewhere else with it. But if
I wanted to take it to a different direction. I mean, Rich, you couldn't have picked two better examples of young men that have the support of their families and have their head on straight. I don't know Connor, but I do know Sebastian. But I know I could tell Connor has a lot of he's got his things in order, and that's awesome, and that's a great example, both these young men to the rest of the guys that might be listening, because it's got to be a family thing. It's got to be, even when you do get those initial offers as well, you gotta, man, does this school have what I want to study? Do I want to spend my 2 years, 3 years of going and getting a degree that I'm not going to use because really I don't want to do this. I want to do that later on. And that's important, obviously the money, the this and that. So, man, it's awesome to see both of you guys that have good heads on your shoulder and that you have the support that your families have, that you have with your family. So I wanted to go in a different direction, man.
Can I add on to that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Connor.
All right, so going on with I got the whole family in here.
Tell them they can watch it later when it premieres on YouTube. Tell them they can watch it. Right. You gotta pay extra for those seats.
Going back to what you said about picking schools just because you want to be there, them not having your degree. I had taken a visit to Embry-Riddle, which is an aeronautical school. It really opened my eyes. Like, I thought at the time, like, this is great. Like, I can make so much money off this, but is this really what I want to do? And I sat down and I thought about it, and yeah, I can make all this money being a pilot, doing Homeland Security, but I don't know that that's best for me. So that really, the school, baseball, everything looked great, very interested in it. But at the end of the day, it just got to be, can I see myself doing that 10 years down the road? And I didn't think I could.
20 years down the road, 30 years down the road.
That's
for the rest of my life.
I had an ex-player of mine that ended up going to Embry-Riddle. But from the get-go, he said, if I don't play, it's fine because I want to be a pilot. So his mind was set on what he wanted to do. So, baseball worked or not, it is what it is. So I want to go in a different direction here, okay? Both of you guys in high school played for great coaches, for that I know personally. Fitzgerald over there at Stoneman and Chris Leon, who honestly played for me. So I taught him everything I know, Sebastian. So that's why you guys were successful last year. So don't let him kid you, okay? I just want you to know that, all right? Yes, and he probably still says stories about me. Does he say stories about me?
All the time.
They're probably all true. But anyways, I'm going to ask you this because you guys play for two great coaches, and more important than that, two guys that love their players because their passion that they show on the field, I know they show it for their players. And I want you to tell me one funny story, something that happened that's a funny story because Fitz doesn't ever get out of character because he's always every time I see him he's got the same look, and Leon too. So I want you guys to share something funny that occurred while you were there at your high school. I see Connor trying to laugh already before he even said anything.
I'm trying to think. I can't. Oh, geez, this is tough.
All right, so I got one with Coach Leon. So like you said,
Right.
Coach Leon has a lot of stories of when he was at FC in high school. And
Right.
one that he brings up often, since he was a catcher just like me, and that we talk about a lot, is that his pop times were impressive. He has 1.8 on the book. So he'd always have this little thing where he could say, I could throw on my cleats on right now in a glove and I could pop a 1.8. So one day we were there, we were all practicing and messing around. He said that. So I told him, I was like, all right, let's do it. Throw it on. So we shut down the whole practice. Everyone came, we were watching. We have Coach Leon on the stopwatch and everything. So it's me and Coach Leon. Coach Leon goes in, finds a pair of cleats, comes out with a little training mitt that he uses. And then we just start going at it. So whenever I go, I pop like a 1.89. And he's like, okay, that's impressive, whatever. So he's going. And then out of nowhere, he just pops this 1.82. He throws his glove up in the air and just walks into the clubhouse without saying a word.
1.82.
Let me tell you, man.
I believe it. I told him. He kept saying all these things like, oh, if I throw on my cleats right now, I'll go in, pop a 1.8 like nothing. I'm like, all right, let's see it. He just comes out and does that. I think he threw like 7 balls before that to get loose or whatever. And he just comes out and pops a 1.82. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Let me tell you what, he was a gamer. The same intensity you see as a coach, he had it as a player. He had some academic issues his freshman year, and he couldn't finish the baseball season. So that was an awakening for him. The following year, we have a catcher who's very good, and he couldn't break into the lineup. So I told him, hey, we're going to have to put you somewhere, and I'm going to give so-and-so a couple of days of games, and if he can't make it happen, I'm going to put you in right field. Sure enough, guy doesn't do. I put him in there first at bat, gets a double, and he just continues to hit. I couldn't take him out of the lineup, and he'll tell you he led off for us, and he was probably one of our better hitters, and he led off for us as a catcher because me being such a great smart coach, I get to run for my catcher, so it kind of worked, So, anyways,
you inspired him to throw me in at leadoff, actually.
See, I told him one time, lead off with Bazz. Why not? What's the worst thing to do?
Except I didn't have to run for myself, but
but still,
I actually led off in high school as a catcher, and then he said he was one of the best bats on his team. So then that's what got him to make me leadoff batter last year.
Yeah, I always told him you should lead him off. Why? Because in a 7-inning game, that leadoff and 2-hole are going to get 1 extra at bat. Not like in a 9-inning game. So why not your best 2 hitters get an extra at bat? So, you play that to your advantages and it's worked, but anyways, all right, Connor, you're on, brother. What you got for us?
All right, I thought of two semi-funny stories. There was one time we were practicing.
No F-bombs. No F-bombs.
No, it's no F-bombs.
We got children watching.
We had an inter squad going. And Coach Fitz goes, all right, let me pitch, because he was a pitcher when he used to play. So we brought out the L screen for him just so he wouldn't get hit. We moved it up a little bit for him because he probably didn't have the arm strength that he used to have. And then because when we do the coach pitcher inter squad, they're still throwing all the same pitches, but we still have the pitcher there in case there's the ground ball to first, because he didn't want to run over there to do the PFPs and all that. So every single batter would come up and he would look at me and go, what do you want him to do? And I would be like, let's get a pop out to right. He'd throw, change up and away to a righty, pop out to right. He'd be like, all right, what now? Strike this kid out. He would throw all this funky stuff and end up striking the kid out. And he looks at me and he goes, it's not that hard. And I'm like, I tell him, I mean, when you're 40 feet away, it's not that hard.
No, I throw gas from 40 feet, baby. I throw gas from 40 feet.
Right?
You got a point. I need a cutoff man at 40 feet. You kidding me?
What's the next
And
one?
the other one, we were having our hit-a-thon where it was like you get donations for how far you can hit or however many balls you make contact, whatever. And at the end of it, he goes, "All right, you guys all suck. It's my turn." He grabs the bat. He starts hitting ground balls to the right side because he's a lefty, or left side. Starts hitting ground balls to third base. And we're all like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "It's my first round." And he's sitting there just taking hacks. Ground ball, ground ball, ground ball. He could not lift the ball to save his life.
What are you doing a second?
Yeah, you know what? He didn't believe in that launch angle. He just wanted to put the ball in play. He didn't want to strike out. But I'm sure we got a bunch of stories, man, because you played in both of you guys played in two great programs that have been very successful, and it's always fun. I mean, it's work, but it's fun. And I know from Coral Reef, everybody on that staff, like I said, I got to take credit for their success. Everybody on that staff played for me at some point. So, listen, I have not been winning lately or going to state, so I have to ride that horse. You got me? So I'm riding that horse, all right? I'm riding that horse. But, Rich, anything else?
Yeah, man. It's funny. Like, that's something we do religiously. And I don't throw from 40. I get on the mound and throw. I throw to the team from 66, and either I'll throw to both sides or I'll throw to one team and Tito throws to the other. And we have some low-scoring games. And that's the same thing we tell the pitchers. Like, this ain't that hard, man. I'm hitting 78 on a good day. But get them out, get them out, get them out, get them out. And the year that we went 18-5, when everything was clicking and all that, right before we got to the playoffs, that's what we did. And I threw to both sides, starters against non-starters. The game ended 3-1, and I threw to both sides. It was a trip. And I was nothing more than 74, 75, lots of strikes. But it was also the same thing that you said about pitch. It's like, hey, what do you want this guy to do? We'll take it a step further. We'll tell the guys, hey, change up, here you go, and throw it. Fastball up, here we go, and we'll throw it. And it's just amazing. What I wanted to ask Bazz, because I saw a lot of your guys run. Let's stay on the topic of high school. Ernie, that's exactly where I wanted to go as well. I saw a lot of your guys run, some of it on Game Changer, some of it live. But I watched the Coral Park game live, the one where you guys won that game. Now, I don't know how much you remember of it because you were in the game, but I was sitting right there. And at the end, when you came up to lead off the game, to lead off in the last inning or sixth or seventh, whatever that was,
it was bottom six.
Bottom six, tie ball game. I'm sitting there with a couple of people next to me, and I say, you have to walk Bazz here. You have to walk Bazz here. You have to walk him. You have to walk him. Reef likes to bunt. Reef, other guys run. I said, you have to walk him. You have to walk him. You have to walk him. It's not conventional, just like hitting your best hitter in the leadoff spot in high school, but we don't play a 9-inning game. We don't have professionals. We got young men out here, kids. And I was adamant, you have to walk him, have to walk him, have to walk him. And they don't. They pitch to you, double off the right field fence. So that sets up the bunt, move to third. If they walk you, well, now you either got to steal second, or your pinch runner has to steal second, or they got to bunt you over the second. At least one out. Get the second out. Now they can't. The squeeze is off, and you guys scored it on a squeeze. I believe it was Ogden.
Ogden squeeze.
It was Ogden, and one of the best punters in the county. I don't know how much you remember of that, but did you guys talk about that at all before you were going up to your at bat? Because I was 100% walk him.
So I wasn't thinking about walks and all that stuff, but once I hit my double, I definitely knew Brent was bunting. So I knew I was going to be on third base. And then we practiced safety bunts, I think, every practice, if not every other practice. And then Coral Park actually had a mound visit. So during that mound visit, that's when Coach E told Mike Ogden, if it's there, to just lay it down to first base side, and that I'm definitely scoring. So we already had that mindset of Ogden was going to throw it down. And like you said, he's one of the best bunters in the county. So in my mindset, I'm like, he's not going to miss, so I'm not going to be hung out to dry. So I kind of cheated towards home plate, and then it just got it down, and we ended up scoring 3-2. And then Pat came in, shut it down, and we won the regional finals.
I know you guys didn't get to have your senior year, and you guys were on a good run. I believe you were undefeated in the district. But
yeah, we're 4-1.
How special was that to be able to share with your teammates and for your school and for Reef, which is still a relatively new program, you know, haven't been around for 40 years like some of the bigger places, and you guys have kind of been on the bottom side of that district for a long time. How special was that for you just as a high school player? You know, you think it's something that you're going to hold on to for years and that you can pass on a tradition? Just talk to that point a little bit.
Definitely. I want to give a quick shout out to Coach Neon and the Reef boys, because I think mostly Coach Neon for me is an older player. I don't really – obviously he has the respect of the head coach and everything, but he's really like just an older player for us. He's an older brother. He talks to us when we need to talk to. Like, he understands who we are. He's a very like hands-on person. If he has a drill coming, he won't like correct you on it. He'll tell you what to do, obviously, and then he'll go show it to you. So then – and us as a team – we really bonded together because it got to the point where last year we're about to be out of districts. With our districts, we're in 5th seed. So we had Killian. So I think we just got like blown out by Southridge. And then Coach Leon took the role of the bad guy, and he bought us boxes of tissues and put them all over the clubhouse. So, and he said, this is to wipe the tears for when we don't make districts. So I think that like lit a spark under us. And then that's when the seniors came up and they're like, oh, if we're not going to do this for the coaches, let's just do this for ourselves. So that's when we really got our spark, our little fire. And then we beat Southridge's first round of playoffs of districts and regional semis. And then after that, I think that's when everything just started clicking. When we connected as a whole group, we were just like, we can actually go deep in this thing. Because Coach Ian was always saying we're a state championship team. But to be honest, none of us really believed it. Like, yeah, we're a solid team, but state championship, because he'd tell us stories of him at FC. FC has some loaded squads. So we're like, yeah, we're good, but we're not like an FC caliber team when you're on there. So we kept on thinking, we're like, okay, we're a good team and everything. And once we beat that Southridge, that's when it all clicked. We're like, we can really make a run for this. And then as a baseball team, we all just really had a tight bond together. We'd always hang out in school, out of school, after practice. We have a chicken kitchen, I think, like 2 blocks away that we'd spend money on, I think, every day. The amount of money we invested in that chicken kitchen is insane. But
I hope they hung a couple banners out there in the outfield.
Yeah, we'd have at least 20 players in that chicken kitchen after practices. Our bond was something special, man.
Connor, what about you, Bubba? I know you guys, Stoneman has a rich history, and Fitz has been there for a while. I know you're 2 years in, going into your 3rd year in college, but what can you give us about your high school experience? And you played there through JV. You weren't a school hopper. You didn't go to 6 different high schools in 3 years like lots of guys do these days. What can you tell us and the young players and parents of these young players that are kind of losing the high school experience by not letting their player stay at one school with one group of friends, with one group of teammates, and one group of coaches? What can you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, my freshman year, we had a bunch of freshmen. I think we had 10 or 11 freshmen through freshman JV, through sophomore JV. Coming to varsity junior year, a couple kids quit because that's just how it happens. Some kids don't think they're good enough. They want to pursue other things. And at the end of it all, we had 6 of us. We had 6. We had 8 seniors. 2 of them were new guys who ended up getting cut for just doing the wrong things. And the 6 of us pretty much stayed together throughout the whole thing. When it got down to our senior year, unfortunately, is when the whole shooting happened at my school. And a lot of people counted us out at that point, saying we weren't going to have a season just because everything happened, which our second preseason game was actually supposed to be the day after the shooting, which was canceled, obviously. And then a lot of people thought we didn't have the right mindset. We're just going to go out there and do whatever. But the 6 seniors, we all came together, and we were like, we're not doing this for us. We're not doing this for the coaches. We're going to bring a state championship to the city. We're going to bring it to Parkland, to Coral Springs. We're going to bring it to them. So we did our best. We didn't – when it got to the playoffs, back then it was 1 game a week. And I was the dude. So I threw the first week. I threw the regional championship game. We won that by a run rule. Regional semis, won that by a run rule. And then there was a regional quarters was a run rule at home. And the regional semis, which kind of made things get thrown out of whack. That was actually between Coach Ray at Flanagan, who used to be there, and Coach Fitz. Flanagan has never played at Douglas. So it was a huge thing. It was the first time coming down here. Supposed to play on a Tuesday. Rained all week. We're out there with buckets and all this stuff, shoveling water out of the center field fence, trying to get it playable because the main thing was center field. And then once we would get that done, here comes the rain again. Finally, we get to the Friday of that week. I go out there. I think they were the 9th ranked team in the country. They were 25-1. Frank Gonzalez, who's one of the big guys at Barry now, was their ace. He was 12-0 or 14-0. So it was a big matchup. We had played them earlier in the year. We got run-ruled by them. Myself and our 2 were both out with injuries. So neither of us pitched, and it was kind of like a Johnny Holstaff kind of thing until both of us came back. And our 2 didn't come back until the regional final game. So I was kind of riding it the whole way. Got to the Flanagan game in the regional semis, ended up throwing a 1-0 shutout. Probably one of the best games I've ever thrown in my life. And back then, that's when they had I think that was the first year of the pitch count rule. So it was like, if you go over this amount, you can't pitch for this many days. And I had thrown my 75th pitch on the last pitch of the game. So I was able to come back for next Tuesday. So we were playing down at Jupiter that next Tuesday for the regional finals. And for 3 days rest, 75 pitches just isn't ideal. Because I had put everything into that game because that was one of our highly anticipated game of the year because we knew we were playing them. So I had put everything I had into that game. So I wasn't feeling 100%. I was a little sore still, I would say. Only ended up throwing 2 innings, got called on a BS ball call that brought in the winning run in the 2nd inning. We ended up losing 2-1. Our 2 did phenomenal. He threw 5 innings, shutout, and we lost 2-1. That was the end of it. But I mean, the seniors, we just came together. No one ever would have thought we would have gone that far with what happened. I mean, we stuck together through it all. We were the leaders of the team, and we brought, whether it was fielding, hitting, a couple guys were pinch runners. Everyone looked up to us because they didn't really know what to do, what to think of just because of what happened. So they looked up to us, and we kind of kept the whole team intact, and we knew what we had to do. Since Fitz's first year there, every team made the regional finals, so it was kind of if you don't make it, you're a failure kind of thing. So that was the big thing. We had to make it there. We had to get past it. Unfortunately, we didn't get past it. But, I mean, it is what it is. Their dude was better than me that day, and that's just how it went.
Just gotta say that the mental fortitude that you guys had to show to just even play a season is incredible. And for you guys getting that far and running into a Jupiter team that year was pretty damn good.
Yeah,
It's
they ended up winning it all that year.
Yes, correct. And Coach Mook over there does a great job. And it's nothing to be ashamed of, man. Just you guys finishing a season is to be commended and respected because what you guys had to deal with is incomprehensible. And I can't imagine what you guys went through. And, you know, the good thing is you had good leaders there, good men, and Fitzgerald, and also and Coach Hoffman over there, who's a Hall of Fame coach, who's, you know, he doesn't have enough fingers for his rings anymore, for state championship rings, you know, and a great guy, and great baseball people, but more important, just great human beings and great role models, man. So it's a good thing you got to experience that, and you too, Bazz, with the coaching staff that you have, and sometimes us coaches are seen as you know, we don't care, we're too hard and this and that, man. But we love our players, and we drive players to achieve more than what they think they could achieve. And I think that's sometimes it's taken for granted. Oh, this guy, the coach doesn't like me, this and that. No, man, we love you. That's why we're doing this. It's just like the parent. Being a parent is not easy. We're always on our kids because we want more, because we know they could do more. And it's a tough gig, but we definitely do it because we love it. But yeah, man, I just can't imagine what you guys went through, and how you guys just bonded through that to get to where you got. It's definitely remarkable.
Mm-hmm. It was really the day after. I mean, it was the day after, 2 days after. I mean, obviously the whole school was shut down, and we met at an indoor facility. And for us at that time, baseball's our get out of anything.
Outlet.
Yeah, our outlet. So I mean, we all sat down. I mean, we're all crying about what everything's going on, and we sat down and we said, we're not giving up. Like, we know what we have to do, and we're gonna go do our best, and we're gonna try to bring a state ring back, make everyone happy here again.
Yeah. You guys did more than that. You know, my hat's off to you guys. You guys did more than that, than when you brought a community together. And that's more important than winning a state championship. So thank you for what you did. Rich, man, we're running on over an hour now, man. I don't know, the ADD's kicking in with me, I know. And I don't know if our viewers are gonna what's the time on the show? What we got?
We're just about at an hour because we started a little late. We had Connor had to call the technical
That's the technical support company.
Yeah, right.
We had to call the Geek Squad in. We're just about at an hour. I mean,
Gotcha.
Guys. Number one, thank you guys for coming on. Number two, I think you guys are great examples of what a high school baseball player, what a student athlete should be. And I think you guys are, Connor, you did leave a legacy. I think Bazz, you also did. And I'd like to see you guys just continue to drop in on your school, drop in on the future of that program, because guys like you don't come around every day. And when guys like you hang around the program, it just does so much more for all the young guys that are there. Because, you know, 3-4 years down the line, you're doing your thing. You guys are off living your life. But, you know, the legend grows, you know, of the time Reef went to state, you know, when the time that Stoneman was not supposed to be on the same field as Flanagan and did what they did. And I just like to ask that of you guys, that you continue to go to those programs and continue to lead them like you did. Because, you know, from my experience, the younger guys look up to you guys, and you guys really set the precedence, and I'm proud and I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do with the rest of your careers, and you guys turn into wonderful young men. And the last thing I'm going to say is that you guys made a promise before we went on camera that we were going to get more than 250 views. You guys are both decently looking young men with lots of connections in South Florida. So we're looking for 500. We need 500. We'd like to renegotiate our contract with HSBN, but it's up to you guys, man. We need you guys to push this out for us.
Don't worry,
Guys,
I'm it out.
Please listen. Rich is getting paid in tacos and burritos. He can't afford it, man. Have you seen his stomach? We gotta cut that out, man.
No, hey, he doesn't text me anymore, so I wouldn't know.
I want to close it out. It's something fun, okay? In 4 words. In 4 words, describe yourself in 4 words. And we're going to start with Sebastian. In 4 words, describe yourself.
As a person, was in general, or like as a baseball player?
Baseball player, person, you name it. 4 words, buddy.
All right. I'd say hardworking, outgoing, trustworthy, and I think I look at myself as a leader.
Leader. So trustworthy, which is
Trustworthy.
Well, there's a hyphen in there. He said hardworking. There's a hyphen in that, so it's 1 word. But you repeat them again: hardworking,
trustworthy, outgoing, and the leader.
Now it's 4.
Pretty good. Now, okay, there we go. We fixed it for you. How about you, Connor?
All right, Sebastian took 2 of mine, which were hardworking and leader. I'm also going to go with passionate and let's go with bulldog.
Bulldog. I like it. Hey, man.
I can attest to that one.
I like it, man.
I can attest to that one. That was my guy in the Bahamas.
Yeah, I know you remember that almost 334 or 340-foot throw out from the fence.
Wow. That's impressive.
Ernie, listen to this. This guy hasn't swung a bat since what, JV?
Yeah.
JV. We're in the Bahamas playing against 24-year-olds. Literally, not joking, 24-year-olds. Their coach came out of the dugout. He was coaching third. He goes in, he puts a uniform on, and he comes back, and he's on the mound now.
He's throwing like 86, 88.
Did he bring out the paper that says I'm 12? He didn't bring that from
Ray actually hit him out. Ray actually hit him out there, and it was a trick.
Oh, wow.
But so Connor's actually playing the field, and he's hitting. The guy hasn't swung a bat since JV. He's playing left field. They hit a ball out there. He picks it up off the fence, and they play in a major league size field. And he just throws one of those pissers.
And hosed him.
We missed the tag. I mean, we're in the box. I didn't get that call.
Juan came up the line because he thought I wasn't going to make it all the way.
Yes, he didn't think I was going to get there.
He had to backpedal to home plate, and he missed the tag by an inch.
Oh, man. What a shame.
Next inning, I'm leading off the inning. I go up to the umpire. I'm like, was he out or, like, we were just giving them the call? He goes, I wanted to call him out so bad, but you're catching him.
That's a good story. Well, guys, listen, man, we'll wrap it up. You guys were fun to talk to. We want to wish you guys all the best in your next step here in your baseball career. And good luck, man, with your studies, with your baseball, with whatever it is that this life takes you, man. You definitely got 2 new fans here, in myself and in Rich. So thank you very much, man. You guys have a good night.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Hey, Rich, man, that was fun listening to those 2 young men speak today. They got their heads on straight, and it's a testament to their families and what they're doing, you know, and the guidance that they played. So that's awesome. Hey, guys, remember, follow us on Twitter on HYardTalk. That's at HYardTalk. We need more followers. We need you guys viewing the program. It's going to be on tomorrow. It's HSBN Network. It'll be on Thursday morning. So follow us and give us those likes, man. We need you. And any ideas of topics that you guys might want to hear, definitely drop us a DM on Twitter. We would love to do those more shows.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is just to bring light to the baseball community, and whether you're a parent, player, coach, umpire, I mean, we got a lot of good shows lined up, but we could always use great ideas. I've had a lot of people that aren't even involved in baseball hit me up and talk about, hey, Rich, man, what about this? What about that? Hey, I can get you this guy on the show. So we appreciate everybody, and we'll see you guys next week.
What we got next week, Rich? What are we gonna do? We're gonna do the. Let's keep them in suspense. That's best. Yeah, let's do that.
You got it.
All right, guys. Good night. Thank you for seeing us and following us.
Thank you, guys.